If you like our video, click the button to subscribe to our channel and get easy access to new content. To see our full suite of ad-free video courses, instruction manuals, and quick reference guides, visit us at www.teachucomp.com. The Export As feature in Photoshop lets you export a copy of the current file as either a PNG, JPEG, or GIF file using the export options you select to a save location you specify by using a Save As dialog box. The default save location that appears in this dialog box is set by your export preferences, as discussed in the previous lesson titled How to Set Export Preferences in Photoshop. To use the Export As feature in Photoshop to save a copy of the currently opened file, select File, Export, Export As from the menu bar to open the Export As dialog box. If your file contains multiple artboards, you can check or uncheck the names of the artboards to export in the panel at the left side of the Export As dialog box. To set the export options for a selected photo or artboard within the Photoshop file, click to select its name in this list at the left side of the Export As dialog box. A preview of the artboard or photo appears in the center of the Export As dialog box. Next, set its file export options at the right side of the Export As dialog box. To set the export file type, select a choice from the Format dropdown towards the upper right corner of the Export As dialog box. If you select the JPG choice, then set the JPEG quality using the quality slider that then appears. Alternatively, if you select PNG, then check the Transparency checkbox to create 32-bit PNG files. Check the Smaller File 8-bit checkbox to create 8-bit PNG files, or uncheck both checkboxes to create 24-bit PNG files. To specify an export file size, either enter the width and height in pixels into the width and height fields in the image size section of the dialog box, or enter a scaling percentage into the adjacent scale field. If resizing an image, select the desired resampling method from the Resample dropdown. Optionally, to change the canvas size within which the image is exported, enter those values in pixels into the width and height fields in the canvas size section. To reset the canvas to match the image size if needed, click the Reset button in this section. To choose which metadata to add to the exported file or files, select either the None or Copyright and Contact Info option in the Metadata section. If you are participating in the beta version of Content Credentials in Photoshop, you can set your desired Content Credentials export options for the file in the Content Credentials Beta section. To set the color space options, check or uncheck the Convert to sRGB and/or Embed Color Profile checkboxes in the Color Space section if desired and if available for your export file type. Optionally, to export the selected artboards or a photo as multiple files at different scales, use the Size dropdown and suffix fields in the Scale All section towards the upper left corner of this dialog box. To set a file suffix for the default scale, which is the 1x size, type it into the suffix field. Alternatively, leave it blank to not add a suffix for the default scale. To then add an additional scale size to export, click the plus sign button in the upper right corner of this section to add another size to the list. Then use the Size dropdown to select its relative scale and, if desired, change its suffix. If needed, to delete a size you added, click the trash can icon at its right end. Note that the scaling export options apply to all the files selected for export and are not individually set for each selected export item the way the settings at the right side of the dialog box are. To finish exporting the file or files, click the Export button in the lower right corner of the Export As dialog box. Doing this then opens either a Save As or Select Folder dialog box depending on the number of files to export, where you can select the save location and, if using the Save As dialog box, name the resultant file. To finish, click either the Save button in the Save As dialog box or the Select Folder button in the Select Folder dialog box. Remember to click the subscribe button to see more of our videos. See our full suite of courses, instruction manuals, and quick reference guides at www.teachucomp.com.